Today on Detroit Muscle, we're going to get all up inside it as our giveaway Trans Am's interior gets some love and attention. We'll show you how just swapping the carpet can leave a lot undone when it comes to your floor pans. Find out how you can attain the carbon fiber look on your factory pieces, learn the ins and outs of rescuing and modernizing aluminum trim, and take your hood scoop from fake to functional.
There's not much left to do on our 1978 Tribute Trans Am giveaway car. After an engine upgrade, suspension, rear, and new paint, we're left with a big black bird that's nearing its completion.
At this point, we just about got all the decals on our Trans Am here. But with over 200 feet of stripe, well, it takes a dang good bit to get them all on there.
Yeah, but time well spent, Mr. Tom, especially with that new golden Firebird flapping its wings on the hood. I like that thing. You know, now it's time to move from the outside inside, though, and gotta tell you, well, you know this, the interior on this thing's in pretty bad shape and need a TLC. We just pulled up the carpet and pulled out the seats and didn't find any money like we used to. But what we did find out is the floor itself is in pretty serious need of attention. So our first step is to clean up this mess. Oh, you thought TV work was glamorous, right? Anybody need a used toothpick? They may be dirty and dingy, but the metal underneath is in good shape. We saw to that when we inspected the car for purchase and worked under the chassis. The factory sound deadening material is going away because we have something better.
You got about all that old sound deadening mat scraped up?
Yeah, just about. I think this is about do it, and we can hit it with a vacuum cleaner.
Sometimes that stuff's stuck pretty good, ain't it?
Yes, it is. Well, been here a few years. Like I was saying, this might not be glamorous, but hey, at least I got Tommy to help.
Then we'll bust out the bucket and some Scott Pro shop towels to wash it down. There's nothing too fancy here, just some soap to get it clean.
There is a small amount of surface rust to contend with, so we'll knock that out with some Loctite Extend Rust treatment.
All right, guys, we're ready to install our boom mat that we got from DEI. Now, the installation is pretty much straightforward. You just peel off this little wax paper and then stick it on. The beauty with this stuff also, well, it reduces the temperature and noise all at the same time. This little roller helps to make the job a good deal easier, as well as keeping the mat laid down nice and flat for you. And make no mistake, sound and temperature control material like this makes a huge difference in the comfort of your ride.
Nothing like brand new carpet for the foundation of an interior makeover. This we got from year one is custom molded for our TA, and it's got jute backing for a little cushioning. However, before we throw this thing in the car, I want to show you a little trick that'll make life a lot easier when it's time to install seats. If you loosely install some bolts into the holes where the seats mount up, once the carpet's laid down, you'll be able to fill this through the carpet and cut a little slit for a neat installation. The way we see it, it only takes one chicken to lay an egg, but to lay a carpet, it helps to have two sets of hands. Ours is a little on the loose side, so spraying some Loctite adhesive on the back helps to make for a tighter fit. Then after a few minutes of tucking and a pat down, this job's covered.
Next, after some cleanup and fresh paint, the rear side panels can go in place along with the sail panels.
Well, Tom's hard at work recovering the factory seats, replacing the boring black vinyl with a set of camel-colored fabric covers from year one that come with trim that matches our carpet. Another little touch that'll set this Bandit apart from the rest. While he's doing the front seats, I'm gonna plug our console back in.
Coming up, while Tommy unloads the big red seat cover faux pas, we'll discover the secrets of illusionary carbon fiber panels. Also, make your way around a hidden jungle of automotive history with a Detroit treasure hunt.
These super duper rad seat covers have performed their duty, and it's time for them to be retired from the bucket seats of our Tribute Trans Am. The factory black vinyl covers are pretty tired too, so they can go away as well. The good news is that the foam is in great shape. A pair of hog ring pliers and a box of hog rings are the weapons of choice to get our new covers in place. Hey, while Dr. Tom finishes up his seat surgery, I want to try something totally different. We use spray paint on everything from engines to trim pieces, but the guys at Duplicolor are always coming up with new ideas for new products like this kit that allows you to give a carbon fiber look to just about any accessory. In our case, this console cover from our Pontiac. You get a can of graphite metallic base coat, black top coat, and this, to make the magic happen, it's their dimensional effects template. Now the first step, as with any paint project, is to get the part clean, and I like to use this Duplicolor prep spray. Next, 2 to 3 coats of base coat for a deep graphite metallic base. After an hour, we can lay down the template, and the flatter to the surface, the better. Then 2 medium wet coats of black top coat with no flash time between those coats. Allow that to dry for 5 minutes before removing the template and revealing a nice subtle carbon fiber look that works for both metal and plastic. A few hours later, the part's ready to reinstall, and for extra gloss and durability, you can add clear coat. Now, the uses for a carbon fiber kit like this are only limited to your time and imagination, and imagine these valve covers would look good with it.
Well, all right, guys, we're ready to get started on the transformation of our bright work on the Trans Am. Now, originally, this stuff is an aluminum trim that's got an anodized coating on it. The problem behind that stuff is, well, over time, it kind of turns milky and cloudy looking. Now, I'm going to hit this with the old buffer over here to show you what I'm talking about. That's the discoloration that I was referring to. This milky looking bit right here. Now you can get that anodized coating off with some oven cleaner and a Scotch-Brite pad. You just simply spray it on and then scrub it off. But it's pretty messy and it's really labor intensive. And whenever you're all said and done, you've got a raw piece of aluminum that you're going to have to come back and polish it pretty often so that you can maintain that high gloss. So what we're going to do is actually paint this stuff semi-gloss black to give our car that modern look.
But you need some Scotch-Brite. Have a pad or 2 on me.
I appreciate that. I'm going to let you use 2 of them, though.
Oh, yeah? You probably wouldn't want to put this in the sandblaster, would you?
Well, you could put it in a sandblaster, but you want to make sure to dial the pressure back because otherwise you could distort the aluminum.
Well, let's stick with this. And definitely want to get inside these channels and get all this crud out because this could wind up in the paint. We don't want that, do we, Tom?
That's right, buddy. The first thing we're going to be spraying on is some PPG DP90 epoxy primer. Now we have to do that because we need a tie coat, which is going to tie our base coat to the aluminum pieces we're about to paint.
The reason you need that tie coat Tom is talking about is because base coat typically has a hard time sticking to anodized aluminum parts.
But with the epoxy sealer laid down, we're good to go with spraying down some black base coat. Then we're going to follow that up with some flat clear. Yes, flat clear, not that glossy stuff. Once it's cured, we've added a modernized edge to our TA's trim.
Coming up, we'll show you that you never know what to expect if you go hunting after hidden gems in your local automotive graveyards. Also, we've got an easy to install hood scoop mod that takes your ride to the next level.
Well, today on our hunt for some Detroit treasure, Tommy and I honestly don't know what to expect. However, we do know that over the hill here is a collection owned by a self-proclaimed junkaholic.
Yeah, to some people it may be a bunch of junk, but to him, he uses the term special interest antiques. So let's just check them out and see exactly what he's got.
I like that term.
I do too.
When the owner retired from his 9-to-5 job, his collection obsession went into overdrive. The plan was to buy one, restore it, then buy another, and so on. Well, so much for the plan.
Well, I would find one I liked and I kept it, and I'd find another one I liked and I kept it, and I'd work a little bit on them and, you know, get sidetracked and find something else.
Now, normally when we go on these treasure hunts, we're on a mission to decode a specific car and see if it's a rare jewel. But in this case, there's so much cool stuff to look at, including a literal boatload of chrome, that we'll just concentrate on the sights. After all, it's a lot of fun to gander at these old rides. We thought we'd start with some of the older cars he's got here, and looks like under this shed is a good one. Behind this vegetation, 5-window coupe, 34 Ford. Now this could be a real diamond in the rough, no kidding, because the guy had a street rod project. It's a real steel start.
Now at first glance, most people may think this is a bunch of scrap metal, but man, these cars are iconic. You've got a Model A Roadster, a 34 Ford sedan, and another 34 coupe sitting in the middle of this stuff. With these cars, well, they started hot rodding. They were lightweight, fairly cheap, and beginning in 1932, powered by the legendary Flathead V8. Simple by today's high-tech standards, the Flathead was unmatched for building go-fast power on the cheap.
The Flathead spawned the modern aftermarket speed equipment industry, and it became the favorite of bootleggers and dry lakes racers alike. Well, flash forward to 1953 and 54 when Ford took a page out of the custom car book and made this production model. It came with a V8, it was a 2-door hardtop with a lot of cool features, and well, they called it a SKYLINER. Why? Well, just look over the driver's seat. The iconic green-tinted acrylic panel provided an open-air feel. Ford even produced a few see-through hoods for dealer showroom displays. Experts say only about 20 cars still have this rare feature. Most all of these cars now compete with vegetation for attention. This Chevy's even got a tree growing where the engine was. But without a doubt, most have a story to tell.
It's too bad they don't talk, huh?
One thing I really enjoy about cars out of the 50s is they've got personality to them. I remember as a small kid, well, my dad had a 56 and him telling me, well, you need to see if you can find how to put gas in this old car. I walked around that car 4 or 5 times and then finally he showed me how. And I really believe that's what's got me hooked on these old cars.
Well, Tommy got the old car personality part right. Some vehicles today are more like, well, disposable appliances. Gary obviously has a special fondness for the personalities of Chevy and Palace.
Faded window stickers tell us the 60 model spent some time on the drag strip.
Speaking of racing, this Monte Carlo is apparently an 86 or 87 Aero Coupe, GM's limited edition NASCAR Ford Fighter. If you ever spot one of these, you may want to pay close attention. We all know what happened with a couple other cars with NASCAR roots. Charger Daytonas and Superbirds are now a couple of the most prized muscle cars out there.
Some of these cars were slated for crushing until Gary came along. And although he would gladly let most of them go for a price, there's one 48 Chevy convertible he won't. A car full of memories shared with a girlfriend who became his wife.
It's probably special memories that would inspire someone to invest money and work into bringing road life back to one of these old classics.
Now the way we found this neat place was this one single car that you could see from the road. And you're not gonna find this type of place just pecking around on the internet, so you're gonna have to get off the couch, see what you can find.
Yeah, no doubt you can find all kinds of collections of Detroit treasures in your neck of the woods, and heck, even if you don't buy something, it's like going to the museum for free. You know, I do like this FLEETLINE. I think it look good green.
Shoot, it looked good any color, even rusty.
Coming up, yeah, we know it's scary to cut into your car, but you have to break some eggs if you want to make an omelet or a functional hood scoop.
Other than that big bird on the hood, nothing says Trans Am like the signature shaker hood scoop like this. Now, from 70 to 73, these things were actually functional. They'd open up and let cool, dense air into the carburetor. Of course, in 78, well, ours was pretty much just for appearance until now. We're going to make ours open and close with this kit from year one that includes a hinged flap, solenoid and bracket, everything we need here to wire it up. Let's start by grabbing a 1/2-inch drill bit and giving ourselves a place to begin cutting. The corners are tricky, so I'll put one here too. A body saw blows through this fiberglass like a knife through butter. The initial cut doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to have to come back and hit it some more. You can use the saw kind of like a file to whittle away excess material. And you can use an actual file for the fine tuning. Last of all, some sanding helps get it nice and smooth. If you have to come back and do some more filing, hey, no sweat. Well, next we're going to flip the scoop over and get ready to mount this flapper. First though, I want to sand off the area that we're going to apply glue on and clean it up a bit. The flap needs a little scuffing as well to give our epoxy a good place to adhere. Then we can lay the epoxy down on both the body of the scoop and the flap itself. With that, we can stick it in place and we'll hold it down with a small weight plate. Well, now that the flapper is firmly in place, I've got this piece of yellow linkage attached to it and the plunger on the solenoid. Now that it's centered up, we can mark some holes on the bracket and drill into this metal tab. Now that everything's installed and wired up, we can use this little hand tool battery to see if this thing works. Looks like we're in business and we got a fully functional hood scoop, just like the TAs in the good old days.
If you're feeding your carbureted engine, ethanol blended fuel, or even E85, Mr. Gasket's got a microelectric fuel pump for you. It's a 12-volt pump that can produce 4 to 7 psi and flow 35 gallons per hour. At maximum delivery, it draws an average of 2 amps. It's a 2-wire hookup and comes with all the fittings and hardware that you need to install it.
When we decided to swap our Bandit Trans Am's original hood with something durable and lightweight, we relied on a source called Carbon Customs. Those guys are all about creating new carbon fiber parts for 1970 to 81 F bodies. Everything from cow panels to door skins. Well, here's the latest addition to their lineup, a custom molded hood scoop that's made from high-grade carbon fiber, and it's made to last, it's lightweight, and of course durable.
You know, it's always a good idea to wear the right cap for the right occasion, and that applies to a distributor. If you've got a GM HEI with the right-hand rotation, this cap from Accel puts your wires in neat, perfect order. It's a high-performance piece with the stress relief molding, special internal ribs, and taller towers to contain crossfire. Plus, the brass terminals are indexed for maximum conduction of electricity. That's going to cap off today's round of Detroit Muscle. You guys, come back and see us.